Hey guys, welcome back. Today's topic is nutrition from life process chapter of class 10 biology. Let's begin the session. Here, nutrition, the mode of obtaining nutrients is nutrition. Okay, here the food is the source of energy and the raw materials. Okay? Every day, living organisms perform many different activities. Okay, if we take an example of humans, we walk. Okay, we play in the ground. Okay, and so many other activities we do. Okay, we need energy for these all activities, and also when we are not performing any task, even during the resting condition, we need energy to maintain state of order in our body. So energy is needed for performing different activities as well as maintaining the state of order in our body. Okay, and food is also the source for the raw materials needed for growth and development in living organisms. Okay, so there are different stages of development in living organisms: the childhood, adulthood. Okay, now so during this process of growth, raw materials are needed and they are provided by the food materials that we eat. Okay, and these raw materials are also needed for protein synthesis. Okay, and also the synthesis of other complex substances in the body. Okay, now so here the synthesis reactions, we use one important word called anabolism. Okay, here complex molecules are synthesized from simpler molecules. That reactions are called anabolic reactions. Okay, so the food is the source of energy and the raw materials needed for our body. Okay, now here the general requirement of energy and materials is common in all organisms, but the strategies followed by the organisms to fulfill that requirement is different. Okay, so organisms follow different strategies to obtain food materials, to obtain the nutrients needed for them. Here broadly, nutrition can be divided as autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. And the organisms which perform autotrophic nutrition, they are autotrophs, and the organisms which follow the heterotrophic mode of nutrition, they are heterotrophs. Here autotrophs can synthesize, they can synthesize own food materials. Okay, so they can synthesize their own food materials, and here heterotrophs cannot synthesize own food. They cannot synthesize own food. So this is the difference. Now if we speak a little more about these two categories of organisms, here autotrophs use simple substances obtained from the inorganic sources like carbon dioxide and water. Okay, so here these autotrophs, they are utilizing simple inorganic substances as the source of energy and the raw materials. Here heterotrophs, they use complex substances. Okay, heterotrophs, they depend on the plants and other animals for their food materials, and the food that they derive from different sources is of complex substances. Okay, so here one of the very important aspect is, as the food materials are complex, enzymes are utilized in their body. These are called biocatalysts. Okay, these enzymes break down the complex substances into the simpler substances, and those simpler substances are utilized by the organisms. Okay, so one of the important word here is enzymes. They are also called biocatalysts because they catalyze biochemical reactions in living organisms. And if we speak about the examples here, autotrophs, green plants and some bacteria, they are autotrophs. And coming to the heterotrophs, here animals and fungi, they are heterotrophs, and these heterotrophs depend on autotrophs directly or indirectly for their nutrition. Okay, so these are the differences between autotrophs and heterotrophs. Now let's discuss in detail about the two modes of nutrition. Here in autotrophic nutrition, one of the important phenomenon, that is photosynthesis. Okay, you can see this picture. What do you understand from this picture? You can see here sun. This is a plant. Okay, and this is soil. Okay, so we can say this is soil. Okay, now here what are the other things that we find here in this picture? You can see this is a leaf of a plant and it is absorbing light energy. Leaf is absorbing light energy. Okay, and also you can see here these are the roots. These are the roots of the plant, and these roots of the plant are absorbing water and minerals from the soil. Okay, so roots are absorbing water. Okay, leaf is taking up carbon dioxide from the air, and also leaf here the chlorophyll which is present inside the leaf absorbs light energy. Okay, so here in presence of sunlight energy, the green plants synthesize food materials. This is what we call the photosynthesis process. Okay, so it is one of the very important concept for the exams. Let's discuss few more details of this mechanism. Okay, here green plants synthesize carbohydrates. Okay, so this is nothing but the food material. Okay, green plants synthesize carbohydrates from water and carbon dioxide in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. This is what we call the photosynthesis process. Okay, so here the green plants have chlorophyll in them, in the leaves. Okay, and in presence of sunlight they utilize carbon dioxide from air, water from soil. Okay, and they are preparing carbohydrates. These are nothing but the food materials, and here the simple carbohydrate is glucose. Okay, and during this process oxygen is released. Okay, and 6 water molecules are also formed. So this is a balanced chemical equation of photosynthesis, one of the very important question for board exams and the competitive exams. So what is the balanced chemical equation of photosynthesis? You can just check once again. 6 carbon dioxide molecules plus 12 water molecules in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll forms glucose, that is C6H12O6 plus 6O2, oxygen released into air, and 6 water molecules are formed. Very important. Okay, so here the glucose that is formed during the process of photosynthesis is, if it is in excess amounts in the plant body, then it is stored in the form of starch. Okay, so it is stored in the form of starch in plant body. Okay, in case of animals, okay, excess glucose is stored in the form of glycogen. Okay, so these are few important aspects regarding the stored form of carbohydrates in plants and animals. So starch is in plants, okay, and glycogen is in animals. Okay, so the stored form of carbohydrate in plants is starch, and the stored form of carbohydrate in animals is glycogen. Important. Okay, now moving to the next. Here if we check this diagram, we will understand what is the site of photosynthesis. Here, this is a cross section of a leaf. You can see here, this is a leaf and this is what? It is cut. Okay, so now we get a cross section of the leaf. Okay, and you can see here, this is upper epidermis. Above it you will find, okay, this cuticle, waxy cuticle. Okay, now this one is lower epidermis and below that you will find one more lower waxy cuticle. Okay, now between the two epidermal layers, okay, you will find these cells. These cells are called parenchyma cells. Okay, so these are parenchyma cells. Okay, one more important word that is used is mesophyll cells. Okay, so mesophyll cells are present in the leaves. Okay, they are rich in chloroplasts. Okay, they have large number of chloroplasts inside them. You can see one particular cell here. Here, dot-like structures that are shown in this cell, they are nothing but chloroplasts. Such several chloroplasts are found in each cell. Okay, so these are the mesophyll cells. Okay, and they are having large number of chloroplasts, and that chloroplast is the site of photosynthesis. Okay, now you can see here in the upper layers the cells are closely arranged, but in the lower layers here air spaces are found. Through these air spaces, the gaseous molecules of oxygen and carbon dioxide can pass and gaseous exchange occur smoothly inside the cells present in the leaf. Okay, so here if we see, the tiny pores are present here. These tiny pores, they are called stomatal pores. Okay, through which gaseous exchange occur, and surrounding the stomatal pore the guard cells are present. They regulate the opening and closing of stomatal pores. Okay, so this is about the cross section of a leaf. Okay, now moving to the next, few more details. Okay, here the events that occur during the photosynthesis, one of the very important question for board exams. It has been asked several times for 3 marks. So dear students, listen carefully. What are the events that occur during photosynthesis? Here, the first one, absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. Okay, where is chlorophyll? It is inside chloroplast, which is present in the mesophyll cells of leaf. Okay, so that chlorophyll, it is a photosynthetic pigment, one of the very important concept. Okay, chlorophyll is photosynthetic pigment. Okay, and this photosynthetic pigment absorbs light energy. Okay, and this is one of the very important step in initiating the process of photosynthesis. Okay, so here chlorophyll absorbs light energy. Now in the next step, the conversion of light energy into chemical energy and splitting of water molecules. Okay, so here the light energy which is absorbed by the chlorophyll is converted into chemical energy, and also certain important compounds like NADPH and ATP are synthesized. Okay, about which we will discuss in the coming slides. Okay, now after that, here one more important step is splitting of water molecules. Okay, so during the splitting of water molecules, oxygen is released. Okay, now the third step is reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrates. Okay, so these are the 3 events that occur during the process of photosynthesis, and very important question for 3 marks in board exams. Okay, now let's discuss in detail about these steps. Okay, here if we move to the one more concept, that is mechanism of photosynthesis. Here in the mechanism of photosynthesis, light dependent phase is one of the phase. Okay, this is also called photochemical phase, or simply it is also called light reaction. Okay, I repeat this once again. Okay, light dependent phase or photochemical phase or light reaction. These are the different names can be used for describing the one of the phase in photosynthesis. Very simple. Light is necessary for this phase. Okay, light is necessary for the reactions of this phase to occur. Okay, so here a series of chemical reactions occur in a very quick succession initiated by light. Okay, as the reactions are initiated by light, this is called light dependent phase or photochemical phase, simply light reaction. Okay, now the light reaction takes place in chlorophyll containing thylakoids called Grana of Chloroplast. Okay, if you see here in this picture, you will understand better. This is a transverse section of chloroplast. Okay, now you can see inside you will find these are the thylakoid membranes. They are arranged in the form of stacks, and these stacks of thylakoid membranes, these are called grana. Okay, so these stacks of thylakoids, these are called grana. Okay, so here this is grana. Okay, now here stack of thylakoids are found. So thylakoid membrane is having the chlorophyll. Okay, each unit here in the stack we call it thylakoid. Okay, we call it thylakoid membrane. Okay, so here the thylakoid membranes present in this grana, they contain chlorophyll. Okay, this chlorophyll is a photosynthetic pigment. It absorbs light energy and initiates the process of photosynthesis. As I mentioned here, the light reaction takes place in chlorophyll containing thylakoids called Grana of Chloroplast. So this is a chloroplast and these are the grana, and these are the sites of light dependent phase or simply light reaction. Okay, now moving to the continuation here in the step 1. Okay, the chlorophyll on exposure to light energy becomes activated by absorbing photons. Okay, one of the very important word here, these photons. These photons are nothing but units of light energy. Okay, so here in a very simple words, photons are nothing but the units of light energy. Here the chlorophyll on exposure to light energy becomes activated by absorbing photons, and these photons are the units of light energy. It is one type of elementary particle. Okay, now here moving to the continuation, step 2, the energy is used in splitting water molecule to release oxygen. Okay, how the splitting of water molecule occurs, if we see this in a reaction, it is like this. Water molecule, upon splitting, it forms protons and electrons, and here you can see this is how oxygen is released. Okay, so here the energy is used in splitting water molecule to release oxygen. Here this reaction is known as photolysis, one of the very important concept in photosynthesis mechanism. Okay, so what is photolysis? It is very simple, splitting of water molecule. Okay, so here the energy is used in splitting of water molecule to release oxygen, and this reaction is called photolysis, and this was discovered by Robert Hill. So it is also called Hill's reaction. Okay, so what is the other name for photolysis? It is Hill's reaction. Don't forget, one of the very important concept. Now moving to the next, here water is splitting and forming the protons and electrons, and oxygen is also formed. Oxygen is released into the air. These protons are used for the formation of NADPH, and the electrons are used for the synthesis of ATP molecules. Okay, so now let's discuss few more details about this. Here the hydrogen, the protons produced in photolysis, immediately they're picked up by special compound called NADP, okay, to form NADPH, okay. So this is what we call NADP is nicotinamide, okay. This is nicotinamide adenine, okay, adenine dinucleotide phosphate, okay. So this is what we call NADP, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate, okay. So it is picking up the hydrogen produced during the photolysis, or it is picking up the protons and immediately gets, okay, reduced to NADPH, okay. So this is how NADPH formation take place during light reaction. Now another energy rich compound ATP is also formed at the end of the light reaction. The electrons that are formed during the photolysis, they are utilized during the formation of ATP, during the synthesis of ATP. So here NADPH and ATP, these are energy rich molecules that are synthesized during light reaction of photosynthesis. Very important. So what are the energy rich molecules that are synthesized during light reaction? The answer is NADPH and ATP, okay. Now moving to the next, here the light independent phase, this is also called dark reaction, okay. Light independent phase or dark reaction, or one more concept can be here, it is also called biosynthetic phase, okay. Biosynthetic phase. So these are the different concepts that can be used to describe the second phase, the another phase of photosynthesis. Here this reaction does not require the presence of light, okay. So here it is also called light independent reaction. It does not require light, okay. It can occur even in the absence of light, okay. So light is not compulsory for these reactions to occur, okay. So here extension of the phase after daytime may occur in some plants, okay. It means after the daytime, during the night also, some of the reactions of this phase occur in some plants, okay. So this is the reason it is called dark reaction, okay. It does not mean that it occurs during the dark conditions in night. It doesn't mean. Simply the meaning of this is the light is not compulsory. Even in the absence of light, these reactions can occur. That is the meaning, okay. So this is about light independent phase. Now here it only means that these reactions do not depend on light, okay. Important. These reactions do not depend on light, okay. In the dark phase, the hydrogen combines with carbon dioxide by utilizing ATP energy and produces glucose, okay. So this is how carbon dioxide is reduced to carbohydrates. This is what we call, okay, biosynthetic phase, because here the carbohydrates are synthesized, the glucose molecules are synthesized. This is the reason it is also called biosynthetic phase, okay. So the carbohydrates are synthesized during this phase, okay. Now let's discuss about the continuation part. Here this synthesis occurs in a number of steps. This is not a single step, okay. There are number of steps during the dark reaction, okay, and using certain special intermediate compounds and enzymes. So here several steps are present, and these steps use several intermediate compounds and enzymes, okay. And here finally glucose may be converted into a storage product, that is starch. I already discussed about this point. Okay, so in plants, carbohydrates are synthesized in the form of glucose, but they are stored in the form of starch. Okay, now moving to the next, here one more important concept. Okay, here one of the important concepts that we should remember is, okay, in some of the plants, okay, here these reactions that we have discussed, the 3 steps that we have discussed here, it is not compulsory that all these events occur in a sequence one after the other. It is not necessary. Okay, it is not necessary that all these reactions occur one after the other immediately, because there is some exception. In desert plants, okay, in desert plants, what happens, do you know? They take up carbon dioxide. They take up carbon dioxide at night and prepare, okay, they prepare intermediate compounds. Okay, they prepare intermediate compounds, and these intermediate compounds are acted upon by the energy absorbed by the chlorophyll during the daytime. So it is not compulsory that all these events occur one after the other immediately. Okay, so what is the exception? In desert plants, these plants take up carbon dioxide at night and they prepare certain intermediate compounds. These intermediate compounds are acted upon by the light energy absorbed by the chlorophyll during the daytime. Okay, so this is one of the important concept for your exams. Okay, now till now we have discussed about the mechanism of photosynthesis. Okay, here grana is the site for light dependent phase of photosynthesis. The stroma, this fluid part inside, okay, the stroma is the site for the light independent phase or dark reaction. Okay, I repeat this once again. What is the site of light dependent phase? It is grana. And what is the site of light independent phase? That is stroma. Okay, so this is about the site of photosynthesis and the mechanism of photosynthesis. Now after this, let's proceed with the continuation. How the plants obtain carbon dioxide. Okay, carbon dioxide is necessary during the photosynthesis process. Then how do these plants obtain carbon dioxide? Very simple. So here you can see stomata are the tiny pores present on the surface of the leaves. Okay, so the tiny pores present on the surface of the leaves, they are called stomatal pores. Okay, massive amounts of gaseous exchange takes place in the leaves through these pores for the purpose of photosynthesis. Okay, if you see here, these are the pictures of stomatal pores. Here this is opened stomatal pore, okay, and this is closed stomatal pore. Okay, so here what do we find? This is opened stomatal pore and this is closed stomatal. Through this stomatal pore, gaseous exchange occur. Okay, so gaseous exchange take place. Okay, so here during the process of photosynthesis, carbon dioxide molecules, okay, they diffuse into, okay, inside the leaf, okay, through these stomatal pores, okay, and oxygen is released out during the photosynthesis. Okay, and during the respiration it is an opposite process. Okay, oxygen is utilized and carbon dioxide is released. And now one of the important concept here is, you can see the specialized cells that are the kidney shaped or the bean shaped. These cells, they are called guard cells. These guard cells regulate, okay, the opening and closing of stomatal pores. Okay, so regulate opening and closing of stomatal pores. Okay, so this is about the function of stomatal pores during the process of photosynthesis and how they are regulated. Okay, they are regulated by gut cells. Okay, now moving to the continuation, how plants obtain the other raw materials. What are the other raw materials? First of all, okay, water is one more the raw material. Water used in photosynthesis is taken up from the soil by the roots in terrestrial plants. Okay, already I have shown you one picture. Here you can see in one of the picture, you will understand better. Again I will show it. Here the roots are absorbing water from the soil. Okay, so roots absorb water from the soil. Water is another raw materials. Okay, and also other essential nutrients are that are what we call mineral nutrients. They are also absorbed from the soil by these roots. Okay, so roots are absorbing water and the other essential mineral nutrients from the soil for the photosynthesis process and the other mechanisms. Okay, so here water is used in photosynthesis. It is taken up from the soil by the roots in terrestrial plants, and the nitrogen, phosphorus, iron, magnesium, etc. are taken up from the soil by the roots. Roots absorb all these nutrients from the soil. Nitrogen, this is required in very large amounts. Okay, so it is absorbed in the form of nitrites or nitrates. Okay, or organic compounds. Okay, so this is how the nitrogen can be absorbed. Okay, it is required in large amounts by the plant, and it is very much essential for protein synthesis. Okay, I think you are aware of that proteins are nitrogenous compound. So for protein synthesis, nitrogen is very much essential. Okay, and it is required in large amounts by the plant. Okay, so this is about how the plants obtain the other raw materials like water and the essential mineral nutrients. Okay, now after this, now let's discuss about the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Already a little bit we have discussed. Heterotrophs are those organisms which cannot synthesize their own food. They depend on plants and animals for their food materials. And here heterotrophic mode of nutrition is of different types. Here one of the heterotrophic mode of nutrition is saprophytic nutrition. Here it is the process of chemoheterotrophic extracellular digestion. Extracellular means outside cells digestion process occur. Okay, digestion is nothing but the breaking down of the complex food materials into the simpler substances. That is what we call digestion. And in this mode of nutrition, okay, outside the cells digestion take place. Okay, it means outside the cells the complex food materials, they are broken down into simpler substances. This is what we call extracellular digestion. Okay, and here it is a process of chemoheterotrophic extracellular digestion involved in the processing of decayed organic matter. So in the decaying organic matter, okay, whatever the nutrients are present, the complex nutrients, they are broken down into simpler ones by the enzymes. Okay, already I used this word in the earlier slides. These are the biocatalysts. Okay, so here the saprophytes release enzymes onto this decaying organic matter, the dead bodies of plants and animals. These enzymes, they break down the complex food materials into the simpler ones. Then the simpler nutrients are absorbed by these organisms, okay, through their surface. This is also called absorptive nutrition. Absorptive nutrition, as the simpler nutrients are absorbed through the body surface. Okay, Okay, and here the examples are fungi. You can see here a picture, mushrooms. Okay, this is a picture of mushrooms. Okay, mushrooms are the examples for fungi. Okay, you can see here decaying organic matter is found in the soil, and these fungi utilize these decaying organic matter as a source of nutrients for them. Okay, so here fungi, they secrete enzymes onto the dead and decaying organic matter, okay, of plants and animals, dead bodies, and here the simple nutrients are absorbed through their body surface. So absorptive nutrition or saprophytic nutrition is seen in fungi, and one example here is mushrooms. Okay, now moving to the next, after this, a parasitic mode of nutrition. Here one organism called the parasite lives on or inside another organism, the host, causing it some harm, and is adapted structurally to this way of life. Okay, and this mode of nutrition is called parasitic nutrition. Here the parasite depends on host for the nutrition. Here the parasite either lives on the surface of the host organism or inside the body of the host organism. So this is how it lives, either on the body surface or inside the body, and derives nutrients from the host and causing some harm to the host organism. Okay, most of the times the host organism is not killed. Okay, little harm is caused by these parasites. Okay, and here the examples for parasites are cuscuta, this is a plant. Okay, and ticks, lice, leeches, tapeworms. Okay, so these are the different parasites. Okay, so here if we see, this is a cuscuta plant. You can see this thin, slender, okay, this twining structure on the other host plant. Okay, this is what we call cuscuta plant. Okay, the genus name of this is dodder. Okay, genus name is dodder. Okay, and it is leafless. Okay, this is leafless. Okay, it is twining. It is twining, and it is parasitic plant. It is parasitic plant. Okay, it do not have leaves, leafless. It is twining. You can see here it is twining. It is parasitic plant. Okay, and one more important aspect is no chlorophyll. Okay, so here no chlorophyll. You can think about what is the importance of chlorophyll. It is playing very important role during the process of photosynthesis. As in this plant, chlorophyll is absent, so it cannot perform photosynthesis. It depends on the host plants for nutrition. Okay, so this is cuscuta plant. Okay, it uses some specialized structures called haustoria. Okay, so these haustoria absorb, okay, water and nutrients. Okay, these haustoria developed by these cuscuta plant, they absorb water and nutrients from the host plant. So this is how it is deriving the nutrients from the host. Okay, now moving to the next, one more mode of nutrition, symbiotic nutrition. Two organisms are mutually benefited by sharing their nourishment and shelter. So here the nutrients, the nourishment is shared, and also the shelter. Okay, so this is how the two organisms, they live together. They are mutually benefited. Okay, this mode of nutrition is called symbiotic nutrition, and the organisms are called symbionts. Okay, symbionts are the organisms which are living together and mutually benefited. Here if we look the example, Rhizobium and Leguminous plants. This is one example. A symbiotic association is seen between Rhizobium, it is a bacteria, okay, and leguminous plants. Okay, you can see here the picture. This is a leguminous plant. This is a leguminous plant, and you can see these are the root nodules. These are the root nodules. If it is magnified, this is how the root nodule. Each structure, the root nodule which is shown here, if it is magnified, it is like this, the large structure. Inside these root nodules, you can see, okay, the bacteria. They are very much important in nitrogen fixation process. So the bacteria lives inside these root nodules. Okay, when the bacteria is inside the root nodule, you can think about what is the benefit to the bacteria. It is getting the shelter. Okay, it is getting the nutrients from this plant. Okay, so this is how you can see nitrogenous compounds are provided to plant by the bacteria which is living inside the root nodule. And here the photosynthetic products of the plant are utilized by the bacteria. So both they are living together. They are mutually benefited. This is what we call symbiotic association. Okay, so here nitrogen from air is utilized. It is converted into nitrogenous compounds. This is what we call biological, okay, biological nitrogen fixation. Okay, this is performed by the Rhizobium bacteria that is living inside the root nodules of leguminous plants. Okay, so this is the example for symbiotic nutrition. And here one more example for this is lichens. This is a symbiotic association between algae and fungi. Okay, so these two organisms, they live together and they are mutually benefited. That association is called lichens. So these are the examples for symbiotic mode of nutrition. Now moving to the next, one more is holozoic nutrition. This is also called animal-like nutrition. Okay, this is also called animal-like nutrition, and here you can see it is characterized by the ingestion and internal processing of gaseous, liquids and solid food particles. Okay, so gaseous molecules, liquids and solid food particles are they are ingested and they are processed inside these organisms. Okay, this is called holozoic mode of nutrition. It is called in simple terms animal-like nutrition. Examples: amoeba, Paramecium and humans. Let's discuss about the mode of nutrition seen in amoeba. Okay, so as we discussed in amoeba, holozoic nutrition is seen. Holozoic mode of nutrition. It is also called animal-like nutrition. And in this holozoic mode of nutrition, we find the important steps, like one is ingestion is the first step. Okay, second step is digestion. Okay, and the third step is absorption. Okay, the fourth step is assimilation, and the fifth step is adhesion. Okay, so these are the 5 steps in holozoic mode of nutrition. In amoeba also we find these 5 steps. Okay, here you can see this is the amoeba, and you will find the food particle in the surrounding environment in the water. Okay, so here amoeba has the false feet, pseudopodia, one of the very important concept. Pseudopodia are the false feet. Okay, so these pseudopodia, they are surrounding the food particle, okay, to ingest the food particle. Okay, so you can see here the food pseudopodia are surrounding the food particle. Now what happens? The food particle is ingested. So this is the first step, ingestion. The food is now inside the amoeba. Okay, so ingestion, the food is ingested. After that, inside the food vacuole. So after ingestion, the food vacuole is formed. Inside that food vacuole, the digestion process occur. That is, complex food materials, they are breaking down into the simpler ones inside the food vacuole. After that, the simpler nutrients, they are diffused into the cytoplasm. That is what we call absorption. The simple nutrients are diffused into cytoplasm. Okay, it is absorption. Now in the cytoplasm, those nutrients are utilized, they are oxidized to release energy. That is what we call assimilation. And finally, the undigested, unabsorbed wastes are removed from the cell, okay, through the process of diffusion, and this is what we call adgestion. Okay, so what are the 5 steps in the holozoic mode of nutrition? Here these steps are ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and adgestion. These are the 5 steps in holozoic mode of nutrition. It is one of the example, amoeba. Okay, so you can see the important structures called pseudopodia. They are playing important role in ingesting the food particle. In food vacuole is inside the amoeba, it is digesting the food. Okay, then after that it is absorbed, assimilated, and the wastes are released out of the cell. Now here a similar mode of nutrition is found in Paramecium, holozoic mode of nutrition. The steps are same, okay, as we discussed: the ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, adgestion. All the 5 steps are seen here also. But one difference here is the Paramecium is a unicellular organism. Here you can see it has a definite shape. Okay, it has a definite shape. Okay, and because of this definite shape, through a particular site, the food is ingested into this organism. And you can see here the cilia, tiny hair-like structures are found surrounding this cell. With the help of cilia, when these cilia move, the food particle is transferred to the site of ingestion. You can see here the oral groove or the vestibulum. Okay, here through this oral groove, the food particle is entering into the cell mouth or cytostome. This is what we call the cell mouth or the cytostome. Through because of the movement of cilia, the food particles are transferred to this site we call oral groove or the vestibulum. And okay, through the buccal aperture here you can see the food particle will pass and it will reach the cell mouth or the cytostome. One of the very important word for the exams. So cytostome or the cell mouth. Okay, through this the food is ingested. Food enters inside. Now once the food enters inside, it is now inside the food vacuoles. We discussed already the second step is digestion of food, and the food vacuoles perform the role that is digestion. Complex food materials, they break down into simpler substances in this particular structure, the food vacuole. So through cell mouth the food is ingested. The first step, ingestion. The second step, inside the food vacuole, digestion take place. After digestion, the nutrients are diffused into the cytoplasm after the digestion process. That is what we call, okay, the third step, absorption. And then it is assimilated. It is used, the absorbed nutrients are used to release energy. Okay, after that the wastes are removed from this particular site called are released. Food enters ingestion.